Hello everyone and welcome to the next chapter in the Dark Souls 3 walkthrough. So this episode we're going to be looking at Undead Settlement. Now Undead Settlement has a lot of things in it, including the Warriors of Sunlight Covenant, Irina, Cornix, Sigurd, and quite a few other things that we'll be coming across, especially Undead Bone Shard and Estus Shard. So there's quite a few things to show you. I'll be trying to take the most efficient path through this area, and I'll also be trying to make sure that you can see where all the important items are, important covenants and important NPC quest lines. So hopefully this will be helpful, especially if you've missed anything. There are some weapons and things in here as well, and I'll be explaining what some of the different things do as well, such as the Young White Branch. Following on from last time, something that I forgot to do was to actually use the Estus Shard that we got in the High Walls Lothric. So we're just going to allot some Estus now. Sorry, not a lot. Reinforce the Estus Flask. And that just gives us another Estus Flask when we rest at bonfires. Grey Rat's going to be here as well, so we can talk to him. Not too much to do just yet, but he does tell you to give that ring to Loretta again. And we'll again be doing part of Grey Rat's questline as we go to Undead Settlement. In addition, we have Yol, so we're going to be going and talking to Yol, and he gives you 5 free levels. They're not actually free, so as a bit of a spoiler alert, if you do choose to get those levels, you will start to become hollowed. Now hollowing does help to increase the damage you do from weapons such as Arnri's Straight Sword and those that have a hollowed gem equipped. But other than that, it doesn't really help you a lot, and you will potentially take more damage from the Hollow Slayer Greatsword as well. So those are things to think about as you go through Undead Settlement. Now we're just travelling to the foot of the High Wall, and that's going to be the first place where we start the Undead Settlement playthrough. Now in the room where you got the Estus Shard last time as well, I didn't show you the Titanite Shard, I don't think, so just keep in mind under one of the archways there is a Titanite Shard. So as you come here, you can turn left and you get a soul item. We're going to then head down the staircase. There's 2 alluring skulls down by the dogs to the left there. I don't think you could quite see it in the camera, but they're actually down there. You can go down the staircase this way, but a quicker way is actually just to drop off up where we came here. So you can literally just drop off the edge there. You don't take a lot of damage, and it gives you an easy jump on these dogs. So you can finish the dogs off pretty easily. Just right bumper. Before we talk to Yol, there is a soul item down at the end of the bridge, so we will just grab that. Sorry, Homeward Bones. And then Yol is just over here. You can see him moving. So we're going to talk to him.
Then it's true. A child of Ash, as I live, presence is a great honor. I am Yol of Londor, a pilgrim.
So he claims he's a pilgrim.
Somehow
And he hasn't died as he's been told that he will. And he asks if you'll take him into your service. And he does mention that he was a sorcerer. As another bit of a spoiler, he is part of the Church of Londor, same church that Uria's from. So this quest line is going to be involved with Uria's as well as you keep going. If you follow that questline along, you are able to get Weapon of the Dark Hand. You're also able to get the Untrue White Ring, the Untrue Dark Ring, and the weapon Dark Drift from Uria, as well as the Morion Blade. So there's quite a few things that you can do if you progress that quest, which we will be doing just for completion's sake. Keep in mind, if you do follow that questline, you do forfeit the chance of being able to... if you follow Rosaria's Fingers questline, as well as that, you'll forfeit the chance of being able to follow Sirius's questline the whole way through. So Sirius's questline would need New Game Plus. So there's your Undead Settlement bonfire. An interesting point is as you look out this way, you can actually see the giant up on that tower. We're going to be making friends with the giant very shortly. Interesting point, later in the game you can actually get the Hawk Ring from the giant. You can potentially even kill him now to get it. But I wouldn't recommend that. He is useful and helps you out a bit at points in the game. Hitting this corpse down, more leather shield. Further down, watch out as you will be ambushed from behind. So there's a thrall that will try and ambush you as soon as you try and get this item. So turn around, hit him, and grab the charcoal pine bundles. Now coming to the left, you can hit this item off as well, and we will get that a little bit later. I will mention it. That's actually Loretta's bone. So that's the item that Grey Rat references Loretta, and we find out that she's actually already dead. And so we'll pick up her bone there, and we'll have to bring it back to Grey Rat to progress his quest line. Coming down the staircase, we have a couple of thralls. Just try and hit them before they hit you is the easiest method to get rid of them. Charcoal pine bundle again, and we'll get some resin a little bit later. That'll be useful for the cursed rotted greatwood. Continuing down, I usually do this section with the evangelist first. There's a couple of quick methods to do it. You can grab your fire bombs if you've still got some, and you can throw them directly at the barrels. You'll notice that kills quite a few enemies. These are just random drops. Further to the left here, we have another soul item. And then just in front of the evangelist, you'll see that there's another item. That's actually the Estus Flask Shard. That's something that we do want to get. Backstabbing that guy can be useful, just so you don't hit by anything from the point. Notice the evangelist has a fire attack if you get close, so they will try and hit you with fire, which is not exactly the most pleasant experience. They'll also throw this spell at you. You can dodge to the right pretty easily to avoid that. Dodge past them if they use those attacks, and watch out for that continuous spell. We'll sit a fire attack again. No, they're going to throw us another bleed one. So again, either of those two spells give you a chance for a backstab, and generally they will do a two-hit combo with the mace. If you can get behind after the second combo, that's another useful way of doing it. So that's the hug. You can roll to the side to avoid. Again, you'll get a good chance for a backstab. So Estus Flask Shard is an important one to pick up, as is the Ember just behind here. One quick point that most people probably don't realize is if you actually hit some of these corpses down from the trees, with him. So let's say I equip my bow. If you hit them the tree, you can actually get kukris. So there's 9 that drop down from that one. Kukris have S scaling with dexterity. So if you're going with a dexterity build, something like katanas or bows, things like that, quite appropriate. You'll get some good weapons that you can use. There's a Titanite Shard here, and there are some thralls. You can choose to take them on here or a little bit later. I tend to just get rid of them here now, so we don't have to. Continuing on, the easiest path is not to go down the area to the right. We're going to actually go to the left here. Just because if we go to the right, we're going to get towards where the giant throws his spears. Don't want to have to deal with that just yet. We want to actually be friends with the giant first. So our aim is to go down this way and become friends with the giant before we progress to Dilapidated Bridge. There's a soul item here as well, so don't forget to pick that one up. Thrall jumping down from the roof. You can pretty much backstab as he jumps down. I slightly missed it there. I just make sure I finish him off because that flamberge does deal quite a bit of damage. Flamberge is quite a good weapon if you do manage to get that as a random drop there. Again, watch for this thrall who jumps down from the roof sometimes. There's the Codacious round shield that I just picked up there. And then instead of going straight ahead here, you can jump off to the right. Make sure you have a decent amount of health. I'm getting a little bit low, but I'm okay. Hold your shield up for him and pick up the Titanite shard. Again, hold your shield up and you won't get hurt from his attack. So this is the cliff underside bonfire. I'm not going to worry about resting, I have enough Estus. We're going to continue on. Something that most people probably don't know about is there's actually a corpse item just up there. If you, again, either use a bow or I often use a firebomb, that'll knock that down. We'll pick that one up in a sec. It's actually the partisan, so it's a spear. Again, shield up for these enemies. I got hit slightly by him. So here's Cornix, one of our first NPCs.
Welcome to my abode. I am Cornix, an old pirate.
So he deals with pyromancy as he's just told us. And he's going to be taking all of your pyromancy tomes and selling you pyromancies.
Care to learn some wise. To reiterate, I am Cornix, of the pleasure is mine.
Hand axe there if you're wanting axe weapons. It's not one of the best, but it is an axe weapon. Watch out for this guy. Try and get behind him. And as soon as you notice him turning towards you or swinging that, you want to get out the way. So there's our partisan that I was mentioning earlier, that dropped down from the corpse. Soul item, and then if you keep going further, you will get the fire clutch ring. That's useful for dealing more damage with fire, but you will take more damage of any kind while wearing it. Now that we've done that section, we're going to actually head back towards the way we came. Now that we have the cliff underside bonfire, we'll be doing the giant in just a second, but first we have a another covenant to get. So the Mound Maker's Covenant is down this way. Watch out for the thralls. There's one who jumps off the roof here. There's one who's already shooting darts at you from the roof there. Now this is an area that is very easy to die, so use these rocks if you need to. Again, watch out for thralls on the ground, and then once you've killed these two thralls on the ground, we will deal with the thralls on the roof. Easiest way is killing this one first, because all you have to do is, rather than climb a ladder. And there is, I thought there was another one on this roof, but he doesn't appear to be here now. I think it's if you don't kill him, if he doesn't jump off to start with, he'll be on that roof. I wouldn't go and get any items just yet. I would first kill this thrall just so he's not able to deal any damage to you. Looks like he's going to go kill himself. And then you can get the plank shield here. And this is an interesting little thing from FromSoft. So he tells you another Nana disappeared, and he talks about he ever has his cage, and Nana's never coming back, so come into the cage. Now that's a reference to this person with a cage on his back a little bit further up. So as we continue to the right, there is an item here, Homeward Bones. You can drop on there to not take damage. Again, I didn't drop directly on it, so I took a tiny bit. Before we get into that cage, we're just going to come down this direction and we're going to get a flame stone plate ring. So all we need to do is just push that corpse off a little bit and then hit it, otherwise it's going to fall down into the ravine below. So let's get into the cage as that guy suggested. Not sure that I'd be attempting that in reality. I don't think I'd just get into someone's cage randomly. So now we're going to be fighting the boss known as the Cursed Rotted Great Wood in a little bit. This is actually the area where in the second phase of that fight he falls down through the boss arena, and this is where you can get the Mound Maker's Covenant from. So we can see Hodrick, one of the NPCs, is standing here. He's part of Sirius's questline. There's no huge need to talk to him here to progress Sirius's questline, but you do get the Mound Maker's Covenant from him, so that's the important part of coming down this direction. So he'll ask you if you're a hollow, posing as otherwise. And you can choose either option, doesn't really affect anything. So if we say indeed, then he's happy with you, and he says we'll all go mad soon enough, and he gives you the Mound Maker's Covenant. If you talk to him again, you will get a Homeward Bone, which is useful to get back to Firelink, as there's no actual other way out of this area. Once you get enough vertebra shackles, you can actually offer them to this sacrificial altar here. You'll get rewards for 10 vertebra shackles, and you'll get rewards for 30 vertebra shackles, and one of which is the Warmth Pyromancy, which is a useful one for gradual healing. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our Homeward Bone that we got. So I'm just going to equip that inventory, and then I'm just going to press down on the D-pad to change to it, and press X to use it. And we'll go to the Shrine bonfire. Now, seeing as we got Loretta's Bone, we can take that straight to Grey Rat, and that'll help to progress his quest line. Just make sure that we did. Yes, we've got Loretta's Bone in our inventory. So we're going to give it Loretta's Bone, and he realizes that Loretta was actually already dead, and so you can see he's sort of trembling a little bit there, and he lit the ring. And once we come back to him after reloading the area, he'll be curled up, and you'll get the curl up gesture from him. Again, you can come and talk to Cornix now that we've rescued him. And from talking to him, he'll give you a Pyromancy Flame, and he'll also, if you come back to him, so if we leave, and then we come back to him, and we talk to him again, we'll get the welcome gesture. Do not be gone. Heading back to the cliff underside bonfire, we're now going to go and make friends with the giant. So from the cliff underside bonfire, easiest way to get down is just dropping off the edge here onto this little brickwork. From there we can either head down the path, or another way, if you're willing to take a little bit of fall damage, down that way. Now we've got the Evangelist down there, so we can actually potentially plunge on the Evangelist. Try and take these enemies down one at a time. There are quite a few, so I'm trying to get the Evangelist as soon as possible, which in this case looks like a dangerous move. Often I will take this dog out first, but I just wanted to see if we could get rid of the Evangelist. Again, watch out for those spells. Evangelist can drop the spike mace as well, which can be a useful item for strength characters. But random chance of it dropping. Make sure you get that ember on the bridge that I just picked up. Very useful to have as many embers as possible. Roll to the side as these guys charge at you, and then you can again get attacks in from behind. Now up top we do have a soul item, and if you are prepared to face these two dogs, which aren't too hard, again, hold up your shield, let them jump at you, and then hit, you'll get the Alluring Skulls. Now Alluring Skulls can be useful in the Greatwood fight, they can also be useful in the Deacons of the Deep boss fight, if you need to make any of those easier for yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to head towards the chapel here. Or the elevator, should I say. Now there are multiple ways of doing this, but I find the easiest to be going down first. So what will happen is we'll have Sigurd approach us as he comes up the top of the elevator. Now we'll talk to Sigurd first of all, so we'll just wait for him to get off the elevator and then we'll talk to him. This starts his quest line.
I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegwart of Katarina. To be honest, I'm in a bit of a pickle.
And he's a bit concerned about getting struck by arrows, but he's also concerned about this lift and how possibly we can get up. Now, although those two things seem slightly unrelated, he does mention that they might be coming from the tower, and he wants to try and get up the lift rather than down.
Well, that doesn't get me anywhere. This lift with a little warp I've got.
So again, we can make it go up by pressing it and walking away, but I'm going to go down first. This just means that you get an extra bonfire that's a little bit closer to this area, so if you do happen to die, it's not as tricky. You don't have to pass those horde of enemies again from cliff underside. Grab the ember here, that will start this Outrider Knight coming at you. Just roll past him and go and get the door. This is the safest method of taking down this Outrider Knight because he can be quite an annoyance. Rest of this bonfire, this is the Rice's bonfire. No, this will be part of the Crucifixion Woods area. We're not going to be going down this area just yet. So once you've done that, you can come back in. Couple of tips is make sure that you're watching when he attacks. When he's attacking, you want to get behind him, keep you safe, keep your shield up at all times because he will sometimes make very quick attacks towards you. But as long as you're strafing, not even rolling necessarily, just strafe around him. Again, if you have trouble, there is a cheese method that you can use. So what we can do is he actually can't come out of this door. And so we can just throw firebombs on him, or any of your consumable items. He will sometimes do that. Usually it won't reach you as long as you're far enough back. I'm not going to use all my fire, showing you the technique. So again, you can come behind him, get those attacks in. Generally 2 attacks at a time. I was a little bit greedy there with 3. And you will wear him down and get the Irithel Straight Sword. Now, Irithel Straight Sword is a great weapon. It does deal frost after a certain number of hits. And it also deals quite a bit of damage, so it's something that I'll use in speedruns as Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to step off, step back on, and roll off. The quicker you get off that lift, it means you don't get caught on it to go back down again. Now, as you'll see, the lift will come from above. You can then get on this lift and allow it to take you up to the giant. So going up the stairs, you can talk to the giant.
Who are you?
If you select Make Peace, he'll say he helps anytime. He'll give you a young white branch, and you'll notice that when you collect white branches, that one will stay separate in your inventory from the rest. So make sure that you don't discard that, otherwise you will lose the friendship with the giant that you had. And over here you'll get another soul item. And then when we go back down, we want to be opposite way to the staircase. You'll hear Sigurd go, And at that point you want to roll off the lift forwards. Talk to Sigurd here.
Disappear like that, you had me downright worried. But thanks to you, an epiphany has struck me square in the head. I've unraveled the riddle of this inscrutable lift.
He's worked out the riddle.
I went up the tower. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Anyhow, do you see that? That humongous beast? I'm no coward, and
He's scared of this beast, and he's saying, think twice before you go down there.
I could try talking some sense into... No, I've got to use my head and think.
So you don't have to exhaust his dialogue, but again, I just enjoy Sigurd's quest line. So coming down here, you can grab this item by the branch. Watch out for the demon, he will start making attacks almost straight away. I'm going to step back for a second just to heal. And then what you want to do is, again, you want to try and stay sort of to this leg. Just get back when he starts doing too many attacks. Sigurd can handle some. Don't take too many attacks though, because he can actually die here. Quite rare, but he can die. So again, stick on that leg if you can. That makes you less likely to get hit. Hold your shield up though, because sometimes he will turn. Staying in close, avoid that attack. And we will get the fire gem from having beaten the fire demon there. Talk to Sigurd afterwards. Make sure you do exhaust his dialogue here, because that will mean that you get a Siegbrow, which is useful as a healing item, as well as trading with the birds for one of Solaire's pieces of armor. You get a toast gesture, and you'll also get a sleep gesture if you talk to him after he's asleep. From there is a path to the left, but there's no items down on it. There's also a area down this way where you can get the large club. And you can get your first Pale Tongue. Now, Pale Tongues are part of Rosaria's Fingers questline. And when we go back to Firelink and talk to Leonhard, the NPC that I forgot the name of in the first walkthrough, you'll be able to progress his questline. We could have also talked to him at the tower on the wall, so I will be progressing his questline twice here. Over here we have some red bug pellets. Those are useful for if you're going into fiery areas or areas with lava, such as the Smouldering Lake. It is useful for, as well as in Lothric Castle. 2 alluring skulls there to pick up. Watch out for these dogs, just hold your shield up if they're going to be jumping at you. Over here we have some human pine resins. Watch out for the guys in cages. You can just pretty much avoid them. They are weak to thrust attacks, but I typically will just not attack them, as it's very hard to get thrust attacks in from a distance when they are doing that. 2 evangelists here. You can take them on with backstabs. The easiest method is probably just to roll past them and move up the staircase. Picking up Flynn's ring, that's useful for if you don't have very much equip load. It'll help you deal a bit more damage. You typically need to have very little equipped, small weapons, and it'll help increase your damage. 2 helmet bones there, and you can also drop down, and then you'll drop down once more. And you can pick up the mirror set, as you'll recognize that from Dark Souls 2, and Chloranthy ring, which will help increase your stamina recovery. I will equip the Chloranthy ring now, and I'll also equip the Flamestone plate ring. As a side note, the enemies in Undead Settlement are quite weak to fire, so if you do have any fire weapons or fire spells, such as a pyromancy build, those are useful to use here. There is an ember just by that dog over there. You can plunge him, which is a useful technique. So that's pretty much the lift area unlocked, and we've done everything there that needs to be done. We can actually head back to Firelink for the moment, just to talk to Leonhard, and we can also use our Estus Flask shard that we got. So Leonhard is just going to be up on the staircase. Also, if you want to talk to Hawkwood, he will give you a heavy gem at this point, if you talk to him enough.
At the foot of it was you. At the foot it was if.
You might need to be a little bit further in the game to get the heavy gem. So you can get those at the tower on the war bonfire, but what we'll do is we will reload the area once we come back after action, and he'll be able to give us the key to the Dark Wraith chamber on the tower of the wall. So we'll do that to progress his quest line. Again, talk to Grey Rat. He's now curled up, and so he's upset about Loretta, but we get the curl up gesture. Talk to Yol, and again, be wary if you want to do this quest line, you will get hollowed. So Yol says that he can tease out your true strength. Now, involving that, you will get a dark sigil after certain amounts of levels. The more dark sigils, the quicker you hollow. So you'll get 5 free levels here. The most efficient is to do this just before Abyss Watchers fight, but again, there's not a huge amount of difference, so I'll just do it here. So you can put points into anything. You only get 1 point per level, and then you'll have to die twice and then get another level, die twice, another level. Make sure you get a level each time, otherwise you won't get enough hollowing. Hollowing levels, I think it's at 2. 2, 6, 12, 16 and 20 or something along those lines. I can't remember exactly how many levels each time. Anyway, I'm going to put some points into health and strength. So put into health first. Now you'll notice that I have a dark sigil in my key items. There we go. In key items I have the dark sigil. That means you accumulate the curse, which means that you basically start becoming hollowed. So you will notice I don't actually have a hollowing part of that menu yet, but we're about to get that increased. Quickest way of doing this, make sure you don't have a blue tier stone ring equipped, otherwise it'll prevent you from dying as quickly. What we want to do is we want to go to the top of Firelink Shrine. There's a staircase here, you can jump off that one, and that should be enough to kill you. Now we need to do that one more time before we talk to Yol again. Again, if you have quite a few souls, make sure you do pick those up. Again, it does depend where you land. Sometimes you won't deal enough damage to yourself to be able to be finished off, and so you'll have to just jump off the small ledge a bit lower just to finish off the health that you've got left. And so now if we have a look at our menu, you'll notice that we have hollowing there, and we have 2 hollowing at this point. Now 2 hollowing is enough to gain another level from Yol. So we will draw out True Strength again. I'll put this one into Strength.
Be safe.
And so now you'll notice the option of draw out True Strength is gone if we talk to him again, and so we need a certain number more hollowing to draw that out. Now that we've died, you can to Grey Rat again, or if you've reloaded the area. He'll want to pillage from the Undead Settlement. You're very welcome to send him to pillage in this case, and he'll be safe enough pillaging in Undead Settlement. As you progress this quest line, he's not as safe in the other areas unless you follow certain procedures before you send him to pillage, so just be wary of that. Make sure that you have followed the procedures that need to be done. We'll go into that a little bit later. Again, off ledge. So we do need 20 hollowing to have finished this part of Yol's quest. If you're re-watching this video, you're very welcome to skip through this part of the walkthrough. Only reason I'm including it is so you can see it's a process of die twice, talk to Yol, die twice, talk to Yol, until we've reached 20 hollowing. So you'll notice instead of going up by 1 hollowing each time, we've now gone up by 2 hollowing each time, so we have 6 hollowing in total. After we've leveled up, we'll start going up by 3 hollowing each time. So it increases by 1 after each level from Yol, up until you reach 20. Draw out True Strength. I'm going to put it into Vigor this time.
Be safe, champ.
So try and jump right at the edge of that ledge, just to make sure you get far enough into Firelink. It's not too wise to put too many points into vigor, because sometimes that means that you won't actually get killed one time. That's not really a huge deal because you don't have to kill yourself too many times here. But if you want to make this process as easy as possible, avoid leveling vigor too much just yet. So we'll go talk to Yol again, get another free level. Notice that we're on 12 hollowing now.
Oh, then shall we bear? Be safe.
So we'll be going up by 4 hollowing now each time, so it'll only take 2 more deaths. It's a total of 8 deaths that you need to be able to finish this part of Yol's questline. You can progress through the game and die normally. You don't have to go and continually kill yourself at Firelink Shrine. Is a little bit depressing to have to do that, but it just means that you get this out of the way and then you don't have to worry about intentionally dying in game. You can just progress through the game as normal. So we've almost finished getting Yol's levels now. We should have 20 hollowing, and that should be enough to get our final level from Yol, and then he'll tell us that we've reached.
Oh, I would do it. Then shall we bear?
Yep, so 20 hollowing. We're going to put our last point into strength. And if we talk to him now, he says he'll teach you what he knows, but if you talk to him and say draw out true strength, he says you have attained ample strength. And so what that means is now that once we reload the area, Yuria will appear and you'll be able to purchase some items from her, including the untrue dark ring, the untrue white ring, which will allow you to appear as a phantom or as a human. So if you're being summoned as a phantom, you will look like a human in their world. That's the dark ring. White ring is as a phantom. You'll also be able to purchase the Dark Hand, which is a very, very powerful weapon at this point in the game. So what we're going to do is we're just going to talk to Leonhard. He should now that we've died again and reloaded the area, he will give us the red eye orb. Well, not give us the red eye orb, he'll give us the key to the Dark Wraith in the tower on the wall. That allows us to then go and get the red eye orb from him, which means that you can invade other players. And again, the cracked red eye orbs gave you a one-time use to the players. They will break once you use them, whereas this will be a continuous. What we're going to do is we're just going to use a homeward bone and go back to the shrine bonfire. That resets the area and also means that we can now talk to Yuria.
Prithee, art thou good Yoel's master? I am Uria of Londor, a close. Thanks to thee, Yoel's soul is redeemed. Allow me to express my gratitude in his
So you can see that Yoel's died. Apparently to Uria that means his soul is redeemed.
Of the dark sigil,
And we're now the Lord of Hollows apparently.
For the time thou remainest our lord, we of Londor
And you'll notice that the character's appearance has changed, so I'll take my helmet off in a second. So get the Londor Braille Divine Tome that allows you to get some dark miracles. You can give this to Irina once we get her, or you can give this to Carla. If you give it to Irina, it'll progress her dark questline, which means that she will ultimately become unable to see anything around her, and it'll make Morn angry at you. So her protector angry at you, sorry. If you give it to Carla instead, it means that there will be none of this dark questline progressed with Irina. But Carla we only get a lot later in the game in Irithel Dungeon. You can choose what you want to get from here. So again, as I said, Untrue Dark Ring allows you to look human when you're a phantom or in someone else's world, or even just keep your normal appearance in your world. Whereas the White Ring allows you to look like a phantom, so a white phantom in either your world or someone else's world. Best used in your world if you want to appear as a phantom and say have someone else look like the host using the Dark Ring. Dark Hand is a very, very powerful weapon, so we're going to actually buy that from Uria just to display that it's very useful. Dark Hand does not upgrade through the game, but it actually scales with strength and dexterity, as well as intelligence and faith. So mostly strength and dexterity, but some int and faith. That has changed slightly, I think, over the course of Dark Souls as different patches have been introduced as well. Those phantoms in the game just mean there actually are the real players. See them doing there. What we're going to do now is we're going to return to the tower on the wall. Now that we've got the chamber key for the Dark Wraith, we can go and kill the Dark Wraith and get the Red Eye Orb. Just to display some of the damage that the Dark Hand does. It's often a one-hit kill on some of the easy enemies. Only downside of the Dark Hand is you have to get up really close to the enemies to kill them. I'm sorry, we're not going down to Grey Rat, we're actually going to be going the opposite side, and we're going to be taking the lift down here to the Dark Wraith chamber. So you'll notice this Dark Wraith uses the Dark Hand in the other hand. So if I equip the Dark Hand in the other hand, your left bumper attack will, left trigger will do a grab attack, which is very, very dangerous on real players, not as much on typical enemies in the game though. And your left bumper actually gives you a shield. So it does depend on which hand you have it in as to what attacks it does. So So right bumper is just a normal attack here, right trigger is sort of a slow, powerful attack. Dark Wraith, watch out for his grab attack, watch out for his shield, so you've got to get past the shield sometimes. Again, backstabs can do quite a bit of damage on the Dark Wraith. Predictable timing for his attacks for most of them, so getting to know can be useful. The Red Eye Orb, and we don't even have to go back up. I'm just going to use a Homeward Bone and go back to the Shrine Bonfire. So we will return to Leonhard here, and he will give us the applause gesture because he thinks we've done a good job taking down the Dark Wraith. And that will progress his quest line.
You found a brilliant. I knew you were no ordinary. Now invade, and if you grow weary.
And then he suggests that you give yourself to Rosaria. So when we get to the Cathedral of the Deep area, there's a person who is a Covenant leader, known as the Rosaria's Fingers Covenant. Mound Makers is sort of your purple Phantom Covenant. It's sort of, you can either attack other Phantoms or attack the host when you invade. So that's the Covenant we've already picked up. From here we're going to go straight back to the Cliff Underside bonfire. Again, this bonfire is probably the most used out of all of them in my walkthrough, just because I find that it's central, it's a way to quickly get to the giant, and then it's also a way to open up the shortcut to the Dilapidated Bridge bonfire. So we'll actually come back through the opposite way to get to some of the items at Dilapidated Bridge. So again, I'm just going to change back to my normal weapon. I just find it's a little bit longer, a little bit extra reach, but the Dark End is full if you enjoy taking down enemies in one hit or very few hits, especially early in the game. Deal equipped. Again, just a note, you can press right on the D-pad to change between weapons that you've got equipped in your right hand. You can also press left on the D-pad to change between weapons that you have equipped in your left hand. Same as if you have spells equipped, you can press up on the D-pad to change between them. Another quick tip is you can hold down on the D-pad to change to your first item. Now if you have your Estus equipped in your first item slot, that's probably the best tactic, as you can very quickly change to your Estus to be able to heal. So there's a Cestus in this area. There's also a gate that we're going to unlock a little bit later once we have the Mortician's Ashes and the Grave Key. And that gate will lead down to Irina, NPC, which sells us cleric spells. So this is Dilapidated. Now you will actually have an NPC invade here. There is an easy way of taking him out as well, so we will just Ember. If you have him invade, so we're going to be invaded now by Holy Knight Hodrick. I find with Hodrick, easiest way of taking him down is just walking to this area. And he should follow you down. What you can do is you can hold your shield up and he will come at you. Once he attacks, roll to the left. Oh, there we go. Off the edge. Usually it works better. So again here, roll to the right just to avoid it. He's being quite stubborn this time. There we go. And you'll get a vertebra shackle from Hodrick. So again, an item for the mound makers. Those are the ones that you give to that sacrificial altar that I showed you a bit earlier. So this is the back route to where the evangelist was at the start. There's another evangelist just above me here. There we go, there she is, she just dropped down. As I mentioned, one of the easiest methods with evangelists is the backstab method. So just getting behind her and backstab. Up by where the evangelist was, there's a Titanite shard. Dropping down, we will have quite a few enemies up section. So these hollows. Again, use your shield to your advantage here, because these enemies are all just doing physical damage, so they can't hurt you when you have your shield up. There's a whip in that room. And we will be coming to get a couple that we missed there. This guy's easy if you come from the back route, so another incentive to come from Cliff Underside Bonfire rather than Undead Settlement. Those thralls, unfortunately, we did kill them earlier, but because we've gone through a whole big part of the game, they've respawned. They were the ones upstairs that we killed. So that door's actually got to go through a different method to get to it. So just to point out where we are, there is the evangelist by the tree where we got the Estus Flask Shard, just up there. Here you can grab the charcoal pine resin. That'll be useful for the grapes. So I'm actually going to equip that now. Just by where my resins are. There is the Warrior of Sunlight Covenant item there, that's very important to note. So that is for your Jolly Cooperation, your Solaire type covenant. Every time you help someone kill a boss, you will get a Sunlight Medal. Also, if you invade other people with it, you will get a Sunlight Medal as well. And that is useful for getting the... if you get enough of them, you can go to the Sunlight Altar in Lothric Castle. And you'll be able to get, so there's a soul item there, sorry, and you'll be able to get Sacred Oath, which is a nice buff, and also great lightning spear. So there's Titanite Shard here. Again, 10 and 30 sunlight medals respectively you need. Dropping down to the right, there is a there's an item up there, and there's also a clear that we've just missed. But just for your reference, there's a crystal lizard here which drops a sharp gem. So if you get him to run against this wall, he'll get trapped and you can finish him there. Again, it's because I forced that he disappeared, so if you quit the game and reload, he will be there. If you jump off at the right time, which I'm struggling with right now, we will be able to get that item. Sorry guys. So jumping at this angle, why can we not jump it? Pretty sure it's a rusted coin which increases item discovery, but I could be wrong. There we go. Yep, so 2 rusted coins, and those are useful for increasing your item discovery, especially when farming for Symbol of Avarice or a particular random enemy weapon drop or something like that. Limited time, once you use it, you will get that increased item discovery. Slightly less effective than the rusted gold coins that we got as our burial gift, so those actually give us 100 item discovery. Rusted coins only give you 50. Branches, yep, are the same as the one the giant gave you, and there's an ember there as well. But the added benefit of them is you can just you generally pick up quite a few in the game, and they also allow you to transform into something in the environment. So you can appear to invaders. You won't have your name above your head when invaders see you. There's a reinforced club there, and there's large soul of deserted corpse, another soul item. So if I just show you now, you'll see that the young white branch from the giant is on its own, and the 3 other branches are there. So if we use one of them, you turn into something in the environment. So here we turned into a tree person, and again you'll turn into different things depending on what area you're in. So say we use another one, let's test out what we'll turn into. So we got a pot this time. So you can move around as that, but if you stay still, invader might not notice you, for instance, and they can be useful for that. Shard here, make sure you do pick that item up. That will increase the amount of health that each Estus gives you. So those in some ways are even more important than your Estus Flask shards. To put it in perspective, if you finish the game and you've got all the Estus Flask shards and Undead Bone shards, which we will show you in this walkthrough, you will end up with 15 Estus Flask uses, and your Estus Flask will reinforce to +10. So with that Undead Bone Shard you'd get to +1. Additionally, you need 9 more to get to +10, which means the most amount of Estus healed per heal. Great scythe sitting there that you can pick up. Again, you just have to jump across to grab that one. So that is going to be the way to the Cursed Rotted Greatwood boss fight. So you can actually see the Greatwood sitting in the corner there with a whole lot of hollows surrounding him. We're just going to open this door first. And what we'll do is we'll just teleport back to the last bonfire to show down from that bonfire in case you need to heal. So now that we've opened those doors, it just makes getting to that Cursed Rotted Greatwood fight a lot easier if you do happen to die in between. Before we do the fight though, so I will show you the path down to it in a second, but we do actually need to go and get Irina of Karim, one of our NPCs. So Irina of Karim, if you go from the Dilapidated Bridge bonfire, and just a point, if you look at the top left hand corner of your screen, it tells you what bonfire you're sitting at, and then if you say travel, it's actually grayed out as well. So there's 2 ways to tell. All your bonfires are listed there, so you'll see at the top it says Undead Settlement, so these are all the Undead Settlement bonfires. Those are all the High Wall of Lothric bonfires, and so on. Typically, so Road of Sacrifices is the next area as such that we'll be going to. So coming down here, just keep in mind the rat will have respawned, so just plunge on him is typically the easiest method. I completely missed that plunge, and am sort of getting ganked by rats now. Use your shield, it's very useful, especially against rats. And then this door that I told you that was locked before, we're going to need to go back to the shrine bonfire to be able to open it. You can travel from bonfires. I'm just going the quicker method of homeward burning. So to be able to open that door, we need to get the Mortician's Ashes, which we just picked up by the tree on the left. I'm pretty sure, unless I forgot to show you where to get it, which would be really embarrassing. Let's just check. No, we forgot to get it. Let's go back and just quickly show you that. So if we go to Dilapidated Bridge Bonfire, as we were going to get the Undead Bone Shard, I think I got a bit excited by that and then went towards the Greatwood Bonfire, sorry, the Greatwood boss fight. But the Mortician's Ashes were just on the left as we were going down that way, so we're just going to go pick those up. Those allow you to get the Grave Key, which allows you to pick up Irina of Karim, our healer. So, flushes, just follow this path down. We've already killed all the enemies previously, so I'm not going to show you any of that. We're just going to run straight there. Again, the giant will be giant up on the tower up there, so he'll be throwing spears down to help you now that we've got that white branch from him. That'll occur in multiple places throughout the game where the where you notice the white branches were that we picked up. There's the white birch just there. So Cleric Set is just over there, and as we get past these enemies, there is the Mortician's Ashes just sitting at the base of this tree. Now once we teleport back to the Shrine Bonfire, we'll be able to use those Mortician's Ashes to get us the Grave Key.
Gracious, let this. I only hope the.
So if you go to purchase item, you'll see there's the Grave Key. We can purchase that now. I'm also just going to get the Dried Finger just to be able to show you how to use that, and I will equip that in my something that I use quite a lot for PvP if I want more people to invade me, just to be able to get the souls from defeating them. Just make sure that we've yep, so we're using our Estus Shard that we picked up in the Undead Settlement. And then we're also going to use the Bone Shard that we picked up. Now Bone Shards you have to use at the bonfire. So as you can see here, we're just going to use the Bone Shard, and that's going to give us a +1. You can see at the bottom left of the screen there's Estus Flask +1 now. So again, we're going to travel back to Dilapidated Bridge now that we've got the key. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to the right, that gate that I was showing you. So using the grave, drop down into the grave here. We can pick up the loincloth. And there is a statue of Velka here. You can request absolution or dissolution, so that's to do with sin in the game. Forgiving sin or requesting to sort of be seen as more sinful. I think is the... Well, I think one of them removes curse, theoretically. I've never actually used the statue, to be honest. There's a soul item there. We're just going to move through these skeletons. You can fight them. They're really not very tough. Again, holding up your shield is quite easy. As we move through the grave, there's going to be a couple of items that you might not have noticed, especially on like a first playthrough. So first of all, let's make sure we just grab the crystal lizard here. Again, that holding B and pressing right trigger gives you the easiest chance, and he'll drop a heavy gem for you. As we grab this Titanite shard, there's going to be a guy dropping down, so move back straight away, and then it's fairly simple to finish him off. Another Titanite shard sitting there, 2 Titanite shards in this grave. Now, looking up as you come in, a lot of people will miss it. There is a red and white shield that you can get. So if we just take out our longbow or even a firebomb, you can aim up and shoot down that corpse. Now just unbow, and that gives you the blessed red and white shield +1. Now that shield actually increases your health, so regenerates your health over time. So it can be a really useful shield if you don't use shields too much and you want to just have something on your back to help regenerate your health. These rats, just try and take them on one at a time, so move back as they come at you and then push them off. With a longsword or something, taking on 2 is not a problem. Saint's Talisman there is a useful item. It's quite a decent chime. Has, I think, A scaling in faith. So useful for miracles, which Arena is able to sell us. So we're just going to grab Arena here.
The dark surrounding creature, please.
So she wants us to touch her so that she knows that someone's there. She's losing her sight. And that's going to become relevant as a bit of a spoiler later in the game. If you choose the dark path and give her all the dark miracles, she will eventually lose her sight. Whereas if you follow the good quest line with her and just give her good potential miracles, she'll actually potentially become a firekeeper for you. If we say okay, we'll get the gesture of prayer, and we can then move on to taking on the Great Wood. There's also Aegon of Karim. No real need to talk to him, but he just tells you that he's going to be looking after Arena and to make sure that yeah, he's with you only for as long as you take care of her, basically.
The woman's a lot. Couldn't even become a. She's beyond him.
Just make sure you talk to Arena again. I think I might have forgotten to finish talking to her. Yep. Make sure you exhaust her dialogue, and she offers her service to you, and she'll then teleport to Firelink and sell you miracles.
You've gone and rescued her, have you? How very quaint. Very well. I am Egon, and I am allied to you for as long as...
So what we can do here is we can go straight back up to the cliff underside bonfire. Now that's the closest to the Great Wood fight. And that'll just allow you to recharge your Estus and everything just prior to the fight and have a nice quick run down boss fight. So you can use a Homeward Bone if one you've rested at. In our case, I don't think it is, so we're just going to run up there again. Quickest path, just avoid those firebomb barrels and drop down to the left just so you don't get hit by the firebombs being thrown. For the Great Wood fight, make sure you've got a weapon that has either been infused with fire or that you have some resin. So I've got some charcoal pine resin. You can also use the bundles, whatever is easier for you. I find that the resin lasts longer, and so I don't have to worry about continuously applying them. But if you want to just use bundles every time you get to one of the tree sacks, that's fine as well. Another thing to potentially use, you don't have to use this, just be easier, is the Alluring Skulls. So if you've picked up all those that I've shown you in the walkthrough, you'll have 7. So what you can do is run past these hollows, Don't even have to fight them, and you can throw an alluring skull. It'll just keep them at bay for a little bit, and that'll allow you to use your charcoal pine resin and start getting hits on the first of the sacks. So get that hand first. And again, you can hit as many hollows as you need to, but I'm just showing you hitting the sacks is the main thing that you want to be doing, because that'll progress to round 2. Once the Great Wood starts swinging around, you want to just move back a bit, get out the way of his attacks. Again, he's going to slam, so just roll back. And again, go straight for the main sack once you've got those first 2 little ones. The reason we get the little ones first is because once you get the main one, he will do his slam into the ground, and that'll progress to phase 2. So it's easier just to get rid of all phase 2 rather than the claw that he gets in phase 2 here. So you'll notice he grows the hand out of himself. While he's doing that, you get time to get some hits on that sack on his right hand leg, his right hand thigh. You go for his back. Again, just watch out for the slams. You can wait this out, or you can take a little bit of damage and still keep going for the sacks. I just often take a bit more damage, and I'll deal with a quicker boss fight. Watch out when he leans back. You'll see he's leaned back and tried to back slam. Won't do any damage, just might do a bit of a shockwave if you're far enough away. If you're too close, it will obviously damage you. There we go, a couple of hits on the back sack, and then you can get some hits on the hand, that's an option, or you can just get the hits on the sack at the front here. Either way will be enough to finish him off fairly quickly as long as you've got a decent weapon. Notice I picked up the Symbol of Avarice before, so I'm going to put that on just to get some extra souls. And that's the end of the Greatwood fight. I'm just teleporting back to Firelink Shrine just to show you what's changed, and then we'll end this episode, and next time we'll be doing the Crucifixion Woods. Just quickly, I'm just going to upgrade my character. Actually, I'm only going to spend a little bit of souls. I'll spend 1 upgrade, and I'm actually going to buy the Untrue White Ring and Untrue Dark Ring, just to show you. So you'll see my character is hollowed. You notice his eyes have changed, his face has got sunken, that sort of thing. So once we go to Uria, we can buy the White Ring. Now again, these aren't essential items for you to buy, this is just more to show you. And what we can do is once we equip, let's say we equip the Dark Ring, you'll notice that I still look normal, but I actually look like a normal human rather than a hollow. If I equip the White Ring, I'll then change to looking like a phantom, so any invader will think potentially that I'm a phantom. And also above your head it does change from Host of Embers, which is your normal human form, to Phantom, or whatever it's called, when you use the White Ring as well. So it is quite effective at doing that. We might just equip the Chloranthy there, and we'll equip the Dark Ring last. Again, you can keep your Flame Stoneplate Ring on. I don't really find it's hugely useful. So if we talk to Grey Rat, he'll tell you that he's gone and found some stuff, and we can actually end up purchasing a couple of new things. Divine Blessings, something that's really good to get. You can buy the Embers if you're low, and there's some other good weapons like the Bastard Sword is quite a useful great sword. Zweihander is a good ultra great sword. There's some other good weapons around there, it just depends on what your preferences are. There's a good halberd, the glaive as well. So some early weapons that you can get, and some good arrows as well. He's got some new arrows.
Goodbye.
And we'll come back to Grey Rat a little bit later once we get to Irithel and progress his questline. Cornix doesn't really have a quest line, he just has more of making sure you get all the pyromancy tomes and you can upgrade your pyromancy flame. Orbeck we haven't got yet, we need to get to Crucifixion Woods to get. We've got Irina over here in the end, and she will... You are able to give her the Londor tome, but again that'll progress her dark quest line, so if you want to progress that, feel free to give it to her here. Otherwise, she will sell you some basic miracles like heal replenishment, which restores your health over time, Caressing Tears, which you can use to cure status ailments, and you can get Homeward, which is the same as a Homeward Bone basically, but you can keep using it. She'll also sell you the Saint's Ring, so that's one of the rings you want to get if you want the achievement. And that's pretty much it so far for Irina. Once we get the next tome, the good tome, she'll be able to sell you Tears of Denial, because it means that once you reach 0 HP, you will actually still survive on 1 HP. So it basically prevents death for a little bit, as long as you can heal. That's pretty much all for the NPCs here. We'll just talk to Hawkwood just to see if he's gonna give us... Yep, there we go. We're gonna get the heavy gem from Hawkwood. And that's pretty much as far as he'll go. He'll tell us about going to the Undead Legion, and that's to do with Farron Swamp, where we have to snuff out 3 flames to get into the Abyss Watchers fight. Just a quick note. Often, if you're wearing the Untrue Dark Ring, when you teleport in, the Firekeeper will actually turn away from you. Just a little note, and the other thing that you note is if you do gestures to the Firekeeper, she will actually gesture back with something. Thanks guys for watching this episode, and Reddit, and I'll do the next episode on Crucifixion Woods. That'll be starting I don't know about tomorrow night, but yeah, we'll get onto it soon. Thank you for watching, hope you have a great one, and hope to catch you in the next episode. Bye for now.